Hey everybody, what's going on? We're going to be looking at some basic dubstep bass techniques that I happen to use in my own productions today. So we're here in renoise. We're at 140 beats per minute, 8 lines per beat. We've got some drums already laid down here. Let's take a listen to that. Nothing super impressive. We've got a kick drum. Couple of snares. The snares individually sound like this. Let's see. So we have this one that's kind of the backbone of the rhythm. It's got that nice thud to it. This one, which provides some side channel stuff. And we got this one, which provides a lot of high frequency sustain and decay. And then a clap. We've got 2 reverbs set up here. We've got a plate reverb and a hall reverb. Both are impulse responses in both, which I downloaded from someplace on the internet for free. And then we also have a ride cymbal, which I'm going to turn down a little bit because that's bugging me. That's pretty cool. I can get down with that. All right, so let's lay down this bass line. Right here we got a sine wave, just a basic sine wave. And we're going to play this at a pretty low register, 0 octaves. And we're just going to leave it like that because that's what dubstep is all about. Of course not. That's not what dubstep is all about. Let's make it talk. Let's gritty it up a little bit. So this technique that I'm going to show you guys is something that I just freestyle whenever I need to do it. The general signal path is you have a sine wave, you distort it, you add a lot of harmonics to it, and then you filter it, lo-fi, and then another filter. And that's the general architecture. So let's dirty it up. Something I like to do, we got a G sharp. I want to play the 5th from that, which is D sharp. But at this low a register, it just muddies it up. So I'm going to play that an octave up, which sounds pretty cool. My personal favorite distortion to put on sine waves is Food Driver, which is just a hyperbolic tan, but that's cool. Sounds pretty cool. Let's see what our oscilloscope looks like. Now you'll notice that there's some DC offset there. Easy to fix. Just gonna grab a filter, Butterworth, high pass, 10 hertz. Look at that. Beautiful. Want to dirty it up a little bit more, so we're gonna throw an auto sat. That's pretty fresh. It's pretty fresh sounding. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this dubstep architecture. I'm going to grab a doofer, which is Renoise's kind of macro device, container device, so that I can expose some macro controls for this. Grab a filter, put this in the doofer, and just going to throw an LFO on here as well. So take an LFO, not going to route it to anything immediately, and take this first macro control and map it to this low pan. I'm going to hide this side panel because we don't need that, and that's getting in my way. Hide this top panel too. All right, so we got a filter now. Oh, I mapped it to the wrong thing. Excuse me. I wanted to map that to here. I wanted to map it to the cutoff, not the type of the filter. So it's a low pass. More high frequency grit. So I'm going to grab an exciter. I'm going to grab an exciter and I'm going to put that after auto sat. No, I don't want that exciter. I got this exciter here. Loser exciter is just really aggressive. I'm going to turn this second note down, this chord, I'm going to turn this down a little bit too. Okay, so we have a couple choices for the filter model. I believe this top one is just standard state variable filter. Then we got a Moog. I like the Moog. It sounds a little bit smoother, and I like how it works and sounds. So let's LFO this macro control. We'll call this Scrowlox. Let's automate it. Let's put an LFO on it. Sine wave. 6 lines, so we got a dotted eighth, and we'll reset it twice in the pattern. I like that. Next step is to set the range for this, because just sweeping through the whole situation is not gonna get us where we want to go. That sounds pretty cool. We're going to revisit that. This is going to be a major part of how we tweak this sound. The next effect that we need is some sort of a bit reducer. Not a bit reducer, I always say that. Some sort of a sample rate reduction. Renoise has one of these. It's called Lo-Fi Mat, and it sounds like this. And you should pretty immediately be able to hear what we're gonna end up with here. So let's tweak this parameter range. I actually shouldn't be doing this because we haven't even finished the architecture yet. The rest of the architecture involves one more filter, because this introduces this. We can bring this a little bit more under control. So we'll throw a second filter afterwards. Another Moog, and doing roughly the same thing. We're going to control it with the same macro parameter. Which is pretty cool. This is our dubstep bass, right? Not quite. So I started experimenting with this architecture, and I found that there were some much more interesting things you could do with it. You end up with something here. You can start to get a very almost formant filter. You're almost building a formant filter, which is 2 band passes. So we've got 2 low passes, and let's see what we can do with it. What I've been doing lately is this first low pass. I will make this go in the opposite direction. So it goes on like this. We just set the minimum above the maximum, pretty much invert these 2 values, and then we start to get something interesting happening. I'm going to open the second filter up so you can hear what's going on. So we've done this. Let me turn the second filter back on. While we're at it, let's map a second macro control to this Lo-Fi Mat rate. That's kind of useless. So let's set that as the minimum, which is about 1,000. Cool. And the maximum? Not much further up. About 2,000. that sounds super lame right now. I'm not even gonna lie. So for my homies on Linux, there's another plugin you guys can grab. It's called Foo Chop Liver, and it's like a rate reduction but worse. So this is what it sounds like without. So without. Not a whole lot going on. Chop liver. Check this out. And of course, this isn't any fun unless we start to control this manually, in my opinion. So let's listen to this again. Let's do something like this. Let's get a feel for the range. That's pretty cool. Like this. And we'll do something like this. Should be here. And trying to figure out how to represent this rhythm. I'm losing track of the rhythm here. Cool, so now that we've established this rhythm, let's keep freestyling. I'll go back to Lo-Fi Mat. Another favorite thing of mine to do, throw a chorus in here somewhere. but again, we've got some low frequency content, don't really want to mess that up. So I'll throw it before a distortion, but the renoise chorus has a nice little high pass I can throw on here. Of course, I gotta turn it back up. We got this nice little frequency hump down in the bottom here I want to get rid of. Let's automate that too while we're at it. Let's do like that. Let's set that to points, actually. I do that? Yeah, of course I can do that. Let's set that to points, and I want to snap this to beats. No, I don't. I want to snap that to lines. Cool. Let's do this too. Cool. That sounded pretty good. One last thing I like doing, I'll put a distortion after as well, and it just adds a little bit of extra grit here. So let's see. Maybe a little bit too much. Check the waveform. Should bring some of those low frequencies back in. And of course, this becomes even more interesting if you decide to start playing notes with it. So we've got this rhythm. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to do here. I want to send this to the reverbs as well, because it'll help flesh it out. So let's do a multi-band send, so we're not killing the bass. Cool. That sounds pretty good, actually. I mean, this is nowhere near a full track, but in terms of the timbre of this particular bass synthesizer, I'm pretty happy with this. This video is probably starting to drag on by now, but I will just do one last thing here. About this. Okay, so let's do some mesh incorporation stuff then. You could do something else funkier. That's really loud. That's cool. And we may want to, oh yeah, because we made it quieter up here. So let's propagate the velocity here so it doesn't blow up. I like this. So this happens right here. Let's see if we can do some like triplety or just some really fast pluck type thing. It's a bit too fast. So let's try it here. Quick little run. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like that. Or we could do instead is kind of make this little slope end here. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. And then you could start throwing synths on top of that as well. So, what could I grab like aspect or something like that? I think I may actually. Oh, that's super loud. It's because I'm still on the same channel, isn't it? No, it's just really, really loud. Why is that so loud? Oh, it's because I'm like 4 octaves down from where I want to be. Why is that still happening? Oh, you know why? Because I've loaded this plugin on top of the sine wave. Let's pick a new instrument slot for that. Aspect. That's a big synthesizer. So now you guys get to have a bonus deadmau5 8th pluck tutorial out of this. So let's see, we're playing some G's. Turn the poly up to 12 here. Move this down. Hardly see what I'm doing, but that's cool. I'll close that plugin UI for now. Yeah, let's go back to our patch. I'm just kind of freestyling this. Let's do an inverter because the sawtooth is positive going and we want it to be negative going. So invert the output of LFO1, inverter 1, that's cool. Synchronize that to an eighth note. Also helpful sometimes is to run this through the lag generator so that you don't get clicks from the filter. Too lazy to set your levels yourself? Just grab a maximizer. Bassline's already got all this stuff covered. All we really want is this stuff up here. So, chorus. Saturator, because I saturate everything. That sounds good. I'm still getting some low frequency stuff I don't necessarily want, so I'm going to throw a high pass on there. Alternately. So it sounds really lonely right now, so we're going to run this through some reverbs. That's pretty cool. And then I want to grab a delay as well. I really like resound. So set this delay here. Nah. Cool. I will be surprised if this is any less than like 20 minutes.